People think strength is about winning fights. They imagine power as something loud and overwhelming, something that proves you are better than everyone standing in front of you. But the truth is a lot simpler than that, and a lot heavier too. Strength is not about domination. Strength is about protection. It is about standing between the things you care about and the forces that want to tear them away from you. That is the lesson life forced me to learn. Not because I was searching for power, but because I could not stand watching the people around me suffer while I did nothing. The moment you realize that someone you care about is in danger, something changes inside you. Your fear becomes smaller than your purpose. Your doubts become quieter than your determination. And suddenly the question is no longer whether you are strong enough. The only question that matters is whether you are willing to stand there and fight anyway. Protecting what matters is not some heroic idea people talk about in stories. It is a responsibility that grows heavier the more you understand what you stand to lose. When I was younger, I believed strength was about becoming powerful enough that nothing could threaten me. But I was wrong. The truth is that threats never disappear. The world is full of unpredictable chaos, and no matter how strong you become, there will always be something out there capable of challenging you. Real strength is not about removing danger from the world. It is about becoming the kind of person who refuses to run from it. It is about standing your ground when the people behind you cannot defend themselves. Heroic idea people talk about in stories. It is a responsibility that grows heavier the more you understand what you stand to lose. When I was younger, I believed strength was about becoming powerful enough that nothing could threaten me. But I was wrong. The truth is that threats never disappear. The world is full of unpredictable chaos, and no matter how strong you become, there will always be something out there capable of challenging you. Real strength is not about removing danger from the world. It is about becoming the kind of person who refuses to run from it. It is about standing your ground when the people behind you cannot defend themselves. I learned that lesson the hardest way possible. There was a time when I believed that protecting people was simple. I thought if I became stronger than my enemies, then everything would be fine. But life has a way of testing that belief. Sometimes strength alone is not enough. Sometimes protecting someone requires more than power. It requires endurance. It requires courage. It requires accepting the fear inside you and refusing to let that fear decide your actions. Think about someone you care about, a friend, a sibling, a parent, anyone whose presence in your life makes the world feel a little more meaningful. Now imagine that person facing something they cannot overcome on their own. Maybe it is danger. Maybe it is pain. Maybe it is despair. In that moment, you have two choices. You can step forward or you can step back. Most people believe courage means never feeling afraid. That is not true. Courage means feeling the fear clearly and still choosing to step forward anyway. There were moments when I stood in front of enemies far stronger than me. Moments where logic told me I should run. Moments where my body felt the weight of exhaustion and pain. But whenever I looked behind me and saw the people depending on me, something inside refused to accept defeat. Protecting what matters means you do not measure your strength only by what you can accomplish alone. You measure it by how far you are willing to go for the sake of someone else. Protection also means understanding that the people you care about are not just responsibilities, they are also your source of strength. Many warriors believe they must fight alone. They believe that depending on others is weakness. But the truth is the opposite. When you fight for something bigger than yourself, your strength multiplies. Your determination becomes deeper. Your will becomes harder to break. Imagine standing in the middle of a battlefield with nothing to fight for except your own survival. You might struggle to keep going once the pressure becomes overwhelming. But imagine that same situation with the knowledge that the people you love are counting on you to stand your ground. Suddenly, the limits you once believed in start to disappear. Your body finds energy you did not know existed. Your mind becomes sharper. Your resolve becomes unbreakable. Protecting what matters also means accepting that you cannot control everything. There will be times when you fail, times when despite your efforts something slips through your grasp. Those moments can destroy people if they let guilt consume them. But protection is not about perfection. It is about commitment. It is about waking up the next day and continuing to stand guard over the things you value. There was a time when I blamed myself for every moment someone I cared about suffered. I believed that if I had been stronger, faster, smarter, maybe things would have turned out differently. But eventually I realized that strength does not come from punishing yourself endlessly. Strength comes from learning, from taking the pain of those experiences and turning it into motivation to become better. When you protect what matters, every mistake becomes a lesson that sharpens your resolve. Another part of protection that people rarely talk about is patience. Not every threat appears in the form of a battle. Sometimes the people you care about are fighting struggles you cannot see. They might be facing doubts, fears, or burdens that weigh heavily on their hearts. In those moments, protecting them does not mean charging into a fight. It means standing beside them. It means listening. It means reminding them they are not alone. Strength is not always about fists and blades. Sometimes strength is quiet. Sometimes it is the willingness to stay with someone during their darkest moments, even when you cannot fix everything. That kind of strength requires empathy, and empathy is one of the most powerful forces a person can develop. When you choose to protect what matters, you are also choosing to grow. Responsibility forces you to confront your weaknesses. If someone depends on you, you cannot afford to ignore your flaws. You must train your body, sharpen your mind, and develop the discipline required to face greater challenges. The people you protect become the reason you push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Think about the way pressure shapes a blade. Steel becomes stronger through heat and force. Without that process, it would remain brittle and weak. In the same way, responsibility shapes character. The more you commit to protecting what matters, the more you transform into someone capable of carrying that responsibility. There were countless days when training felt exhausting. Days when my muscles ached and my mind questioned whether the effort was worth it. But every time those doubts appeared, I remembered the faces of the people I wanted to protect. Their safety was the answer to every question my mind tried to raise. Their well-being was the reason I continued to move forward. Protecting what matters also means understanding the value of trust. When people place their trust in you, they are giving you something incredibly valuable. They are believing that you will stand beside them when it counts. That belief can become a powerful source of motivation. When someone trusts you, it pushes you to become worthy of that trust. But protection is not a one-sided responsibility. The people you protect also protect you in their own way. Their presence reminds you why you fight. Their support gives you the courage to continue even when exhaustion sets in. In that sense, protection becomes a shared bond, a connection that strengthens everyone involved. There will always be obstacles waiting in the path of anyone who chooses to protect what matters. Doubt will appear, fear will appear, sometimes even loneliness will appear. But those challenges do not exist to break you. They exist to reveal the depth of your commitment. The moment you decide that certain things in your life are worth protecting, you are also deciding what kind of person you want to become. You are choosing responsibility over comfort. You are choosing courage over avoidance. You are choosing growth over stagnation. And the incredible thing about that choice is that it transforms you. Each time you step forward to defend what matters, you become a little stronger, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Your sense of purpose becomes clearer. Your identity becomes more defined. Eventually, protecting what matters stops feeling like an obligation and starts feeling like a natural part of who you are. You stop questioning whether you are capable of standing up when it counts because you have done it again and again. The doubt fades, replaced by quiet certainty. The world will always contain challenges and uncertainty. But when you commit yourself to protecting what matters, you gain something that cannot easily be shaken. You gain purpose. And purpose has a way of guiding people through even the darkest moments. So if there is something in your life that truly matters to you, do not treat it lightly. Recognize its value. Accept the responsibility that comes with caring about it. Train yourself, strengthen yourself, and prepare yourself to stand between it and whatever threatens it. Because protecting what matters is not just about defending something precious. It is about discovering the strength that lives inside you. And once that strength awakens, it changes everything about the way you face the world.